I got a message last week from an app user with a great question. The question was, tomorrow is macaroni casserole night. Serious question. How do I not eat the entire casserole dish? It might sound like a silly question with an obvious answer for some of you, but the answer of just don't eat it at all isn't that helpful. For many of us, we have what I call trigger foods. They could be our favorite foods or even foods that for some reason we overeat. I love potato chips, for example, and I can eat a whole bag in a sitting. I don't like pasta as much, but for some reason, if you put a big bowl of pasta in front of me, I'll eat the entire thing. And for other people, it could be ice cream. Others is chocolate. It's different for everybody. But refined carbohydrates are often trigger foods that cause us to overeat. So what can a person do to avoid eating trigger foods? Well, my app user is off to a good start. They're aware that they have a trigger food and what it actually is. And that's an important first step for sure. I gave her a few extra recommendations, which I'll share with you now. So the first one is to plan ahead. If you know that you're going to be eating a trigger food in the evening or later in the day, then think about the meals that you're going to have beforehand and plan to eat a little bit less during those meals. So if I know that I'm going to have a pasta meal in the evening, for example, then I'll have a lighter lunch. Or if I'm going out for dinner and it's a really nice restaurant, then I'll even maybe practice intermittent fasting for that day and I'll skip breakfast. The second tip that my app user really liked is that I asked them if they had any smaller casserole dishes and if they could just cook their casserole in that dish instead. And they said, yeah, absolutely. And that's what they were going to do. And although it sounds simple, there's something about our psychology that if we have food around, we're going to eat it. So if we can have less of that food in one way or another, if we can somehow make less of it by even just small tricks like using different things like casserole dishes, then that's going to support us in having less of those trigger foods around. Finally, the third tip that I gave was to practice what I call mindful eating. And mindful eating is probably one of the major reasons why I succeeded in my weight loss journey. When I weighed myself daily, it made me more aware of my goals and my desires for weight loss. And whenever food came to me, I always stepped back and thought to myself, if I eat this much or if I eat more, is it going to interfere with my weight loss goals? If I eat this snack, is it going to prevent me from succeeding in my weight loss goal for today? Practicing mindful eating helps us not eat because we're bored or not eat because there's food in our plate, and rather helps us make the right decision. And sometimes when I looked at that yummy snack or that plate of food, my decision was, heck yeah, I'm going to eat that. It doesn't matter if I overeat, and that's completely fine. And everybody's weight loss journey, you're allowed to overeat once in a while. But more often than not, because I practiced mindful eating throughout my entire journey, I made the right decisions that supported weight loss in the long term. My Lose app supports mindful eating by enabling you to set reminders up during meal times such that a little pop-up pops up saying, hey, here's a mindful reminder for you to think about what you're going to eat and how that affects your weight loss journey. So to summarize, to reduce the overeating trigger meals, first, be aware of what your trigger meals are. Second, plan ahead. Third, try to have less of that trigger meal around. And fourth, practice mindful eating. So if you have any questions about weight loss that you want me to answer, don't hesitate to reach out to me. Send me an email at andrew@luuze.com, luuze.com, and maybe I'll feature your question in a future Mailbox Monday.